I had chest pains, I had a huge headache, my throat was sore.
I've never seen him like that. He's never anxious. He always wants to go.
When Abdurrahman struggled, that for me was kind of a moment where I understood, that they need a little bit more. They need more reassurance.
My brother and my dad were very supportive. If I made the decision to descend, he would have been very supportive. We decided to sleep on it and then see how I wake up in the morning. And then in the morning, we decided to continue.
So, where are we going today?
We're going to Branco Wall.
You pointed in the wrong direction.
Branco Wall. Branco Wall was my favorite.
I think that was the best day. We used our hands to climb, and I find that really fun. It's the first time we do that, and it was really cool. When we saw it from Karanga camp, it was very steep. It looked very steep, and it was very difficult. But as soon as we started walking up, it felt even easier and easier.
What's happening over there?
He's sleeping.
Is that normal?
Yeah. It's pretty normal.
He just sleeps randomly?
You can kind of hear him snoring too.
It was also a very hot day. Everyone was getting uncomfortable in the clothes because it was really hot. We were walking and we were exposed to the sun.
The clouds were there. You could see them. They were just on the right-hand side as we were walking up, just hovering next to us. And they gave this illusion that we were kind of in the clouds, but we were directly exposed to the sunlight the entire time. And as we were walking up, one thing that I noticed in hindsight, which at the time I didn't pay particular attention to, was the fact that Ahmed, although he was wearing a headband, he wasn't wearing anything that covers his entire head, and he was kind of exposed to the sun the entire time.
Summit night was not the easiest for me. I couldn't sleep. All I could think about was the summit.
It's a tough night. It's not an easy night, and it was much heavier on me when I was with them rather than from when I was alone.
We met in the tent as we normally do for tea and biscuits before we head up to the mountain. It was 11 p.m. Ahmed at that point was already complaining about a headache. My head automatically went to, this is probably just a rehash of a little bit of altitude, a little bit of nerves, and probably that he wasn't eating well. I didn't think about the sun exposure of the day.
Okay. Steve, you see where Steve is?
We started walking gradually with a really good pace.
It was night as well, so we couldn't see anything. The headlamp was the only thing we could use to see. It was getting very hard. It was getting very cold as well. The wall we were going up was very difficult. It was slippery.
I was starting to get a little bit nervous about Ahmed. When we would take our breaks, Ahmed was not doing what he would normally do, and he would just grab his head with his hands and just put his head between his legs. I don't generally administer altitude medication, but at this point my gut was telling me he wasn't going to make it, but he still wanted to push, and we pushed a little bit further.
we continued for a little bit longer until we reached 5,000, and then my dad couldn't continue.
I still remember till this day, because I've been back to that point several times. It's where Ahmed sat down and he just started shouting. And his headache was done. And I remember he looked up at me. So he just kind of, I got to him and he looks up and he was sweating. And at that moment I knew that this was the middle stages of heat stroke, and we needed to get him off the mountain immediately. Heat stroke is when you're directly exposed to the sun, and your body starts to sweat out and lose the minerals that it needs to function properly, and that's when you start to get nauseous. Diarrhea is quite common, headaches, dizziness. These are all things associated with heat stroke. Prevention is to stay out of the sun, wear a hat, make sure that your head is not directly exposed. Wherever possible, stay in the shade. It's one of those things as well where if you don't catch it early, it spirals and you can reach the point where you need a stretcher off the mountain, or worse, even a helicopter.
Steve wanted to take me and my brother up with him, but my dad is more important and one decision for all of us, so we decided to go down with him. Made me feel a little bit worried. I wanted to be there for him just like he was there for me. I didn't want them to feel like we didn't care or that we weren't supporting him, so I stuck by him all the way.
Like there's only one thing that I felt, that regardless of any downsides of it, it's the best option. It's either we are all together or we go down together.
So what? We made it to 5,000, not 5,800. That's our summit. Next time we'll come back and we'll reach 5,800.
Experiences can be repeated, and I will quote you in this, like, the mountain is not going anywhere. I cannot deny that there was a bit of regret that I was not able to go to the summit, but you have seen it yourself. It was beyond a physical push. It, like, getting sick is something that is different.
My only thoughts were like, how is my dad? Is he good? Is he better?
They were very keen on saying no. They want to respect the decision that they took as a family, and their responsibility was first and foremost to their father.
I think we all took the right decision. Extremely proud and very happy with how they reacted to it, and it's giving me another reason to start planning for the next adventure as early as we can.
I always wonder whenever I climb Kilimanjaro, it always jerks a tear. And I always wonder, what is it going to be this time? Sometimes it's a sunrise. Sometimes it's a moment I have between me and myself in the darkness. This time it was watching these boys take a decision that most mature people in the world, 30, 40 years their senior wouldn't take. And that's to turn around when they could very easily have reached the summit. And that was powerful. Yeah.